This is Steve Anthony with another episode of The Deep Dive. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. It helps us get these truths out there to everyone and make a difference.
Yep, we take the golden nuggets out of the material and give you the core principles, and we talk about it and find the overall message that you can take from it and apply it to your life or not. It's up to you. We talk about it, you listen, and take it or leave it.
Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine, just for a moment, that you felt your life was completely falling apart. What would you actually do?
Some people might just, wallow in it. Others might look for guidance somewhere.
Right. But what if you decided to write this really angry, desperate letter to God?
And then what if God actually wrote back?
Exactly. Not just like a feeling or some intuition, but real words. Words flowing right through your own hand.
It sounds extraordinary, doesn't it? But that's the premise of Conversations with God, a book that came out of one man's really deep personal crisis back in 1992.
So today, we're doing a deep dive into the first volume of that dialogue. We really want to pull out the core insights.
Yeah, the really important bits of knowledge and maybe some surprising facts that challenge how we usually think about spirituality or reality.
And even our own power, right?
Absolutely. We're hoping for some real aha moments for you today.
Because this deep dive, well, it might just make you rethink maybe everything you thought you knew about your connection to the divine.
And the purpose of your life and how you're actually creating your own reality.
So this whole thing starts from a pretty unlikely place. The author, Neil Donald Walsh, he was in a really rough spot, spring '92.
Yeah, he talks about feeling like a total failure, professionally, personally, emotionally,
Right.
just across the board.
And he did this thing he often did when he was upset, grabbed a yellow legal pad to just vent.
But this time, instead of writing to, say, an ex-wife or a boss he felt was victimizing him,
He went straight to the top, didn't he?
straight to what he called the greatest victimizer of them all, God. And he just let loose this raw, angry letter asking all these questions.
Like, why isn't my life working? What did I do to deserve all this struggle? Just really fundamental, painful questions.
And this is where it gets, well, extraordinary. He finishes writing the last question, and his hand just stays there, poised above the paper.
Like something was holding it there.
Exactly. And then the pen starts moving on its own. And the first reply comes through. Do you really want an answer to all these questions, or are you just venting?
Can you even imagine receiving that?
Yeah.
That moment must have been something else.
It really must have. And that right there was the start of this dictation process. It wasn't just him writing anymore.
Which brings up a huge question right away. How does the source, how does God in the book say communication actually happens?
Yeah.
Because it's probably not what most of us assume.
Definitely not. We tend to think words, right? Spoken or written.
Yeah, like a booming voice or text messages from the beyond.
But the book flips that. It says words are actually the least effective communication tool.
The least effective. So if words are just symbols, what's the real language?
Well, the book calls words utterances, noises that stand for feelings, thoughts, and experience. They're symbols, not the truth itself. Experience, it says, allows you to know.
Okay, so experience is key. What else?
The most common form of communication, the primary channel, is feeling. It's called the language of the soul.
The language of the soul. So your deepest feelings hold your highest truth.
That's the idea. Then come thoughts, often using images, pictures, which makes them more effective than just words alone.
And then there's experience itself. That's the big one.
That's called the grand communicator, God's most powerful messenger.
And the book suggests we, as humans, tend to ignore experience a lot,
All right.
which is why we repeat patterns.
That's exactly the implication. We don't learn from the experience, so we end up having to relive it or something similar.
Okay, so we have feelings, thoughts, experience, and then words as the least effective. With all that input, how do you tell what's a genuine divine message versus just, your own mind chatter or something else?
There's a simple rule given, a basic test. God's messages are always your highest thought, your clearest word, your grandest feeling.
Highest, clearest, grandest.
Yes. And these three, joy, truth, love, they're interchangeable. They lead to each other. If a thought or feeling is less than that, if it's based in fear or judgment, the book says it's coming from a different source.
That's a really useful filter. Okay, moving on from communication. This deep dive really challenges some fundamental beliefs, like the whole purpose of life.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
One of the most surprising things for me was the statement, life is not a school. We hear that all the time, right? Earth school.
It's a very common spiritual idea, yes, that we're here to learn lessons.
But the book says, no, we're not here to learn lessons. What does that even mean? If we're not learning, what are we doing?
It clarifies that the soul already knows. It knows all there is to know all the time. So we're not here to acquire new knowledge in that sense.
Because we already have it, conceptually.
Exactly. So the purpose isn't learning, it's remembering and recreating. It's about remembering and recreating who you are experientially.
Experientially. So, like your example earlier, I might know I'm a generous person in my head.
Conceptually, yes. But it's only when you actually do something generous, share your time or money when it's maybe inconvenient.
That I experience myself as generous.
Yeah.
I make the concept real.
Precisely. You turn the knowing into being through doing, moment by moment.
Okay, that makes sense. And that need for experience leads directly into why we have duality, right? Relativity.
Yes. The book explains that for God, or the universe, to experience itself, it needed to create relativity, contrast, opposites.
You can't know up without down, or fast without slow.
Or love without fear, or good without what we call evil. This system of opposites is what makes experiential knowing possible at all.
And this connects to another really radical idea in the book, the reinterpretation of original sin.
Oh, absolutely. Forget the idea of a fall from grace.
The book calls Adam and Eve's choice, what was it, an upliftment?
An upliftment, yes. And the greatest single event in the history of humankind.
Wow. Why?
Oh.
Now, because the source argues that choice, that act of choosing something other than God's initial state, is what created the world of relativity. It introduced choice itself.
But without that fall, there'd be no contrast, no way to choose or experience who we are. Exactly. No other to know ourselves in relation to. It wasn't a sin. It was the necessary step to allow for experiential knowing.
Okay, that's a lot to chew on. This idea of duality, contrast. It seems to tie into another pattern the book points out, the triune nature of things.
Yes, the Holy Trinity concept, but expanded. It's described as God's signature, something you find absolutely everywhere once you look.
So not just Father, Son, Holy Ghost.
No, it applies to us too. Superconscious, conscious, subconscious, mind, body, spirit.
Thought, word, and action, the creation process itself.
Given time, past, present, future, space, here, there, and the space in between. It's presented as this fundamental repeating pattern, God's blueprint, if you like.
A blueprint for God, for us, for creation itself.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And leading from that, maybe one of the most challenging but also empowering ideas in the whole book.
Let me guess. No victims.
That's the one. No victims in the universe, only creators. That just lands with such weight, doesn't it? It shifts everything.
It really does. It takes away the blame game entirely.
But it's hard. I mean, think about tough times in your own life.
Yeah.
It's so easy to feel like a victim of circumstance or other people.
Of course. It's the default mode for many of us. But the book insists that every single event, no matter how difficult,
Even big world events, like natural disasters.
even those, the book says they are created by the combined consciousness of man. But crucially, for you individually, every event is an opportunity to decide and be who you are in relation to it.
So it's about how I respond,
Yeah.
what meaning I give it, who I choose to be in that situation.
Exactly. You decide what it means and who you are because of it or in spite of it. You reclaim your power as the creator of your experience.
This whole creator concept completely changes the picture of God too, doesn't it? It's not the traditional image at all.
Not even close. Forget the idea of God as this puppet master pulling all the strings.
The book describes God more as an observer.
An observer, yes. Not the direct creator or uncreator of the circumstances or conditions of your life. That's our job.
Because we were made in God's image, with that same creative power.
Precisely. We were given the power and we created the rest. The life circumstances, the world conditions. It's a shared creation.
And this God, this observer, doesn't have needs. Doesn't need worship or obedience.
No, the book is quite blunt about that. It calls those demands of egomaniacal, insecure, tyrannical monarchs not of God.
So what does God want, according to the source?
It's simple, really. God desires for itself to know and experience myself in all my glory. Through us.
And for us.
For you to know and experience who you really are. Enjoy, constantly creating, fully alive.
Okay, and now, we have to touch on probably the most controversial statement in the book. The one that makes people really react.
Yes, the Hitler statement.
The book states, flat out, Hitler went to heaven. That's incredibly jarring for most people to hear. Understandably so.
Deeply challenging. And the book doesn't say it lightly. The explanation given is complex, but it ties back to relativity. It says, God loves good more than I love bad, because it is only through that which you call evil that you can know good. It suggests even the most horrific acts, from the soul's perspective, become part of the contrast needed for ultimate knowing.
So it's not about condoning the actions at all.
Not in the slightest. It's about a non-judgmental embrace of the entirety of experience, seeing how even the darkest parts serve the soul's journey towards knowing itself, towards knowing God. It implies a universal salvation, ultimately.
Which leads to the idea that the ultimate outcome is assured. There's no eternal hellfire.
Correct. No hell, the book says, except the personal hell of not knowing this truth. The suffering comes from believing in separation and condemnation.
Okay, so if the outcome is assured, and it's all about knowing ourselves through contrast, this brings us squarely to the core energies the book says drive everything: love and fear.
The primal polarity. Every single human thought, word, and action, it claims, is based in one or the other. Only two emotions, fundamentally.
And fear is the energy that contracts.
Contracts, closes down, draws in, makes you want to run, hide, hoard, harm. It's that shrinking energy.
And the book argues society kind of teaches us fear. Be the fittest, the strongest, the cleverest.
Yeah, it fosters that competitive scarcity mindset which breeds fear. And here's a crucial insight. That which you fear strongly, you will experience.
Why? How does that work?
Because emotion is the power that attracts. Like energy attracts like energy. Strong fear sends out a powerful signal that draws that very experience towards you, eventually manifesting it physically.
Wow. Okay, so if fear contracts and attracts what we dread, what about love?
Love is the opposite energy. It expands, opens up, sends out, stays, reveals, shares, heals. It's abundance.
It's described as the ultimate reality, right? The all, like white light holding all the colors.
Exactly. And masters, like Jesus in the book's example, are those who consistently chose love. Chosen only love in every instance, in every moment. Even as they were being killed, they loved their murderers. That's the ultimate mastery over fear.
But it also says they aren't opposites on a line, love and fear, but points on a circle.
Yes, that's a key image. Not polar opposites, but 2 points on the same circle. They are both part of the one thing, necessary components for the experience of duality in this relative world we live in.
So even fear has its place in the grand design, helping us know love more fully.
That seems to be the implication. It's all part of the mechanism for experiencing ourselves.
All right, let's shift gears slightly. How do we use this understanding? Let's talk about conscious creation. The book gives some pretty specific tools for manifesting, starting with prayer.
And again, it completely redefines prayer as most people understand it. Forget asking or begging supplication.
The book says you will not have that for which you ask, nor can you have anything you want. That sounds counterintuitive.
It does, until you hear the reasoning. Your very request, the act of asking for something, is a statement that you don't currently have it. It's a declaration of lack.
And the universe, being this big mirror or echo, just reflects that lack back to you.
Precisely. It takes your statement of, I don't have X as the creative command, and keeps manifesting. Well, not having X.
So if asking doesn't work, what is the correct prayer?
Gratitude. A prayer of gratitude, not supplication. Thankfulness in advance.
Like acting as if. Feeling the gratitude now for something you desire, as if it's already happened.
Exactly. Coming from a place of true knowing that it is already yours in the non-physical realm, just waiting to manifest, that feeling of certainty and thankfulness is the powerful creative force. The universe responds to your state of being, your I am.
I am, that phrase comes up a lot.
It's called the strongest creative statement in the universe. Whatever you put after I am, you are calling into existence. I am tired, I'm broke, I am abundant, I am joyful. The universe just says, okay.
You're like a big creation machine, the book says, using thoughts, words, and actions.
Those are the 3 levels of creation. First, thought. Conception, visualization. Every thought is creative. It never dies.
Second, word. Expressing the thought. It's more dynamic, more powerful than thought alone, especially those I am statements.
And third, action. Words put into motion. Energy made physical. Being and doing based on the thought and word.
So if there's something in my life I don't like, I don't just complain about it.
No. The advice is bless it, acknowledge it served some purpose, and simply change it. Choose again.
Think a new thought. Say a new word. Do a new thing.
Call forth a new reality. Consciously.
How does this apply to something really concrete like health? Does the book connect our thoughts to physical illness.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It makes the bold claim that all illness is ultimately self-created, often unconsciously, of course.
How? Through negative thinking.
Yes, things like chronic worry, hate, fear, anxiety, bitterness, constant judgment. The source says these mental states literally attack the body at the cellular level.
That's a powerful connection. So healing isn't just about medicine or treatments.
Those can be important tools, but the book stresses you must change your thinking, address those underlying negative patterns, and also simply take better care of your physical body.
It makes a pretty wild claim about the body, too, doesn't it? Something about longevity.
It does. It says the body was actually designed to last forever, and that things like a lack of a fundamental will to live, often unconscious, manifest as self-neglect and contribute to physical decline. Healing is deeply holistic.
Mind, body, spirit working together
Mm.
or against each other. What about relationships? How are they viewed through this lens?
Relationships are seen as sacred, really important. They offer life's grandest opportunity to experience your highest idea of yourself.
To practice being who you want to be. Patient, loving, understanding.
Exactly. But they often fail, the book argues, when we go into them focused on what you can get out of them, or looking for someone else to complete you.
That old idea of finding your other half.
Right. The book argues against that, which leads to another really provocative statement. The most loving person is the person who is self-centered.
Okay, wait. Self-centered. That sounds like the opposite of loving. How does that work?
It's redefining self-centered. It doesn't mean selfish or ignoring others. It means being centered in the self, focusing on what self is being, doing, and having in the context of the relationship.
Go focusing on my own actions, my own feelings, my own growth within the relationship, rather than trying to control or fix the other person.
Precisely. Your primary relationship must be with yourself, building your own sense of worth, love, wholeness first. Then you bring that whole self to the relationship.
And the key question in any interaction becomes,
What would love do now? And crucially, the highest choice is often that which produces the highest good for you.
which sounds selfish again, but the logic is.
Because you and the other are one. What is truly for your highest good, your authentic self-expression, ultimately serves the highest good of the relationship and the other person, even if it's challenging in the moment.
It also means being honest, right? Not playing roles like the long-suffering wife or belittled husband.
Absolutely. Truth requires being willing to assert, acknowledge, and declare exactly how you feel about a thing. Authenticity is key.
So, wrapping all these incredible ideas together, what's the big takeaway for just living day to day?
The core message seems to be that life isn't about getting somewhere else, achieving some future goal. The purpose is to notice that you are and have always been already there.
Already whole, already divine, already connected?
Yes. The only game in town, as the book puts it, is to live consciously, making choices with awareness, being the cause in your life, not just the effect of what happens.
It really is a profoundly different way to look at everything, isn't it? This whole deep dive into conversations with God, it gives you such a different lens.
It really does. You're not this small, powerless being tossed around by fate. You're presented as this powerful, conscious creator.
Shaping every single moment with your thoughts, your words, your actions, your feelings.
And God isn't some distant judge watching you, waiting for you to mess up. God is like an ever-present partner.
Yeah, eagerly waiting for you to wake up and consciously participate in this amazing creative process.
The process of knowing yourself as the divine being you actually are.
So, as we finish up, what does this all mean for you, listening right now, for your life, starting today?
If your reality truly is shaped by your inner state, by your deepest feelings, by those I am statements you make,
What I am, are you going to choose to declare for yourself right now, today?
how will you consciously choose to recreate your life starting this very moment?